My father used to call me beloved, bro.
Wow.
And when I would call him, he'd be like, "Hey, beloved,
Yeah.
how you doing, beloved?" Welcome.
Back, man. We back.
Episode 27.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tuna fork.
Appreciate you, brother, being here. Especially you stepped your shoe game up.
Dog, my shoe game's been on elite status, dog. You just awaken a sleeping giant, dog. You ready to be in trouble now.
The UNLV is all right.
See, listen, you seem to forget that this city started shoe game.
Oh shit. Okay.
Did you know that?
Listen, bro. There's no way I'm agreeing to that.
How?
Number one, it's not true.
It is absolutely true.
Number two, it's not true. It's a gang of not trues.
Let's do the knowledge. Can we do the knowledge?
Sure, man. Go ahead.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Okay. Phone posits came out.
No. Even this is before phone posits. I went to college in Atlanta.
Where'd you go to Spelman?
And down to the AUC, biggest Clark, Morehouse, Spelman, Morris Brown.
Okay.
And to a lesser extent, the Georgia Techs and Emory's. Black people. Used to make fun of DC people because we had a shit ton of tennis shoes and we used to match our tennis shoes with the shirts and hats that we wore. This is a fact.
Okay.
Nobody else was rocking. Only other people that were rocking Air Force Ones were people from Detroit. Shout out to Detroit. And later, New York called them uptowns, and they started wearing Air Force Ones. So that was the beginning, and this was before them corny ass St. Louis dudes talking about it. Way before that.
So can I ask a question?
No, let me finish. Let's do the knowledge. We're doing the knowledge.
Okay, my bad.
The Reebok classics, all of them, the flat ones, the classic ones,
the gum,
all of them, the black, the case, all of those things came out of DC. We were wearing them before. We was rocking sneaker game before. We created wearing tennis shoes to clubs, wearing sneakers to clubs. Nobody else was doing it when we started doing it. That's the knowledge.
Okay. Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Thank you. But there was a part of your story that kind of stuck out.
Okay.
You were in college in the 80s?
No, I'm saying late 80s, early 90s.
You were in college in the early 90s?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know how old you were, dog. Now you just told me that you old as a motherfucker. Okay.
I am. That's cool.
I didn't know that
until
now. I didn't know you graduated anything. I didn't know you graduated college in 91.
I ain't graduated college in 91. But the point is, that's the knowledge. You're
Okay.
still trying to avoid the knowledge.
Listen, man, I'm not gonna argue with you on a topic that you are biased to.
When did Kansas City start wearing tennis shoes? They still not. Their game still ain't.
So what we walking around with, like sandals?
But y'all ain't got no game. Y'all ain't have shoe game. Yeah, in my mind, yes. Y'all still walking around with dirty Chuck Taylors, just the white ones, the low top.
Cortezes?
No,
hey,
not Cortez.
We rock Cortez, dog. Listen, so
because that's West Coast shit.
I'm glad a lot of my KC folks ain't gonna watch this.
Hey man, the truth is the truth.
Because motherfuckers will put hits on you, dog, for talking about.
Because for telling the truth.
Yeah.
When did y'all start shoe games? When did y'all start getting y'all shoe game up?
I don't know.
I can go back to Barclays. I can go back to Union.
So we used to wear Barclays. All them, man.
But y'all ain't wearing when they was out.
We did too. Okay, bro.
No way you have me to believe Kansas City dudes is wearing Barclays.
I had a pair.
What Barclays are you talking about?
The black and red, the black ones?
No, I'm not talking about those. See, that's what I'm saying.
Which Barclays you talking about?
I'm talking about the original white and blue Barclays.
I had to see them.
I don't.
Cause you older than me, dog. You was like
I don't know what that
30 when I was in the motherfucking 7th grade. So forgive me if you got a lot more memories attached to shit, because you was in the streets, you was on your third kid in 82, and you got all this shit popping, and I, you know, I'm just.
Did you need to understand what the game is? You still doubt.
So did you rock, how old was you when the weapons came out? Like 26? How old was you when the weapons came out, when the Converse came out?
I don't remember those.
You were getting your master?
We ain't rock the Converse.
You don't remember the weapons?
I remember the shoes, but we ain't really rock Converse in that way.
Okay.
Ponies.
I know y'all for New Balance, bro. That's it. And phone and phone posits.
What do you think that came
y'all
from
started,
before?
now New Balance was y'all shit.
Yeah.
I like.
Reeboks. We started Reeboks. Jordans, we was wearing the ones, dog.
I didn't know.
DC started sneaker shit.
Okay.
New York soon followed, but we were the originators of the shit. Sorry.
So I'm glad that I'm glad that your choice is reflecting the kick game.
You feel away, but that's all right, because it'll come to you, dog, and that's okay.
So did you buy them specifically for this episode? Because you ain't had them.
Absolutely not.
You ain't never wore them.
Why would I buy them specifically for this episode?
Dog. Because I've been watching the comments. They've been heating you up a little bit.
Oh, that's
just a little bit.
That's all right. Fuck all of them.
Happy Father's Day, bro.
Hey man, we here, dog. Appreciate it. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers.
How you feeling today?
I'm good, man. Do we wish Happy Father's Day to the dudes that ain't really
fathers
showing up as fathers?
Yeah.
Got kids out here and they just wilding.
Mm-hmm.
Happy
So,
Father's
okay,
Day
so wait a minute. Yeah, man. Yeah.
We do?
Yeah.
Well, Happy Father's Day to them too, dude. Because I know, dog, deep down that they feeling away. They feeling a little bad about how they showed up as fathers, dog. Up until this point. But today is first day of a new day, dog. If you want to start to make amends and repair those, you can do that.
So shout out to them. What is the dude, what do we call the dad who's in and out, who know he could be doing better and ain't, and has kind of like a fractured relationship with his kids, but he really don't know how to make the swing to get shit on the right track? Because he's in such, you know what I'm saying? Because I think it's a lot of dudes who love their kids, who feel a certain way about not being in their life, and are in a rut and don't really know how to make that turn, bro.
And it's a lot of dudes who do that, dog, and they're in a rut with themselves. And they don't know how to turn, I mean, all this shit, dog. I mean, your relationship with your kids, whether good or bad, dog, is a direct, like your relationship to everybody, to all people, everybody in your circle, everybody in your life, dog, is a lot of time a direct result of your relationship with yourself. And if you're struggling with that, then more than likely you're going to be struggling with those too. So once you decide to change up your relationship with yourself and start to move in a different way, then how to mend those relationships will come to you. But it has to be a conscious, like you have to do it intentionally. You can't mend no relationships by just hoping that a person will, recognize that you're sorry for the shit you've done.
I used to work with a white dude. I used to work with a white dude who had a son, bro, and he was not in his son's life, but he was volunteering for big brothers and big sisters.
You know what? I've heard that a few times. That's not uncommon.
So this is what I'm saying. Something happens in that process sometimes where people feel like they can't make the pivot to create that new path for their people, but they end up going in another space and really like going hard as a motherfucker with them relationships.
Yeah.
Wishing and hoping that they could be, because I remember when the dude told me, I was like, bro, that's wild as a motherfucker. How are you not trying to do everything you can do? I mean, you had to fill out an application. You did some work for Big Brothers, Big Sisters, right?
You had to go through a background search.
You had to do an interview, all kind of shit. Like, and you just can't put some other kind of energy. And I was a lot younger too. I was like in my early 20s when I met this guy.
Yeah.
But didn't understand that, bro, didn't understand the challenges with that, especially knowing brothers who have relationships. And the ones that I do know who are kind of trying to figure it out are just making themselves available and being present in the ways that they can.
Yeah, it's tough, man, because I read somewhere, dog. I'm getting like you. I'm lying. I saw
a meme
somewhere,
a post.
It was at least a full-on like piece of information that a lot of times people will, like in those fractured and broken relationships, they will traumatic experiences in relationships. They will, in their future relationships, they will look and seek to fix those things that's happened in the past.
Yeah.
So they'll go into other relationships, even bad ones, trying to repair. They'll seek out the same thing and try to repair in the future what they couldn't repair in the past. So it's a lot of dudes out here who do that, man, and they don't really understand why. And also, that repair, dog, is not immediate. Like, you can't walk if you've not been there for 15 years. You can't roll up and be like, hey, I'm here, it's all good. Yeah. You gotta deal with the anger. You gotta deal with the, the bitterness and the resentment and the pain that's associated from everybody involved. And you gotta
take them lumps.
You gotta take them lumps. And sometimes, like we said last joint, sometimes it's just, hey man, let's go get something to eat.
Yeah.
Let's sit down and we ain't gotta get into no heavy. I'm just showing you that I'm here. Let's schedule every Monday we gonna have lunch. Every Monday and Wednesday we gonna go do something. And we're just gonna exist in this space. And if we need the therapy piece, we'll inject that too. But first, I just want to show you that I'm present, that I mean what I'm saying.
And on some real shit, I loved my dad, bro.
Yeah.
He was everything to me, even though he wasn't. My dad was in my life up until I was about 8 years old. My mom, they split up when I was when I was a baby. And he was in my life, and he would pick me up. I mean, he would fly me to California, and I'd go from Kansas City, California in the summertime, and we would get cool.
This is after 8 years old?
Before 8 years old.
Okay.
And then 8 years old came, and then the visits became less frequent, less consistent. And then it just kind of, there was this big gap. And I always wanted my dad, bro. Yeah. Always wanted my dad.
Need him.
Didn't understand what that necessarily meant, but there was this longing, this connection. And the reason why I'm telling the story is because somebody looking at this can see a 44-year-old dude, right? And they might be thinking, okay, my relationship ain't what it could be with my kids.
Right.
And you might get resistance at that moment.
Yep.
But your kid wants you in their life, regardless of how they showing up.
Yep.
All that flair, all that motherfucking vibrato, all of that indifference that they see on the surface.
Yeah.
It's just pain. A part of it's pain. That's and it's disappointment.
And fear.
All of this shit, because it's like, what is the other side gonna look like?
Yep. Yep.
You can repair that shit. You can make that relationship just like any other relationship, whatever the fuck you want it to be.
Yep.
But you gotta be willing to take that step. And sometimes the kid will see you take a step.
Yeah.
And then they'll take a step.
Yep. And eventually, I dare to say, dog, eventually they all will take a step. If they see that it's like I said, if they see that, two things. First, you're dealing with kids who are already, their insides are all over the place, dog. And they're creating things in their mind. They're attaching pains to different things and making these connections that is hard for them to express.
Yeah.
Right? It's hard for grown people to express, grown men to express.
Yeah.
So, you know, that all of that's rolling around in them is hard. But the consistent piece, it ain't gotta be, you don't have to go in and fix it immediately. That's not gonna happen. You ain't gotta go, you're not gonna go in there and today and tomorrow he's gonna be like, oh, I love you, Dad. It's gonna take time, man. It's gonna take sitting and talking. It's gonna take just being there. It's gonna take time, and it's gonna take small steps, man. By both of y'all.
Yeah.
Everybody involved.
Because there's this connection that bonds y'all that will never go away.
That's right.
And it's always there.
And if it's not, dog, it's a chasm that exists for both.
Yeah.
There's no way that you could tell me that a dude goes off and does whatever and doesn't have a relationship with his child, doesn't feel that.
Yeah.
All of the time, dog.
It's a whole.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I remember, so my father has two daughters that are older than me, and then I have a sister younger than me who is maybe 12, 13 years younger than me. Yeah. As a 20, 21, 22-year-old dude, and I saw my father be in my sister's life that way, I was jealous of my sister, bro. Because I was like, how does my sister get this time with my father, and I didn't get the time? And even as a whatever you perceive to be an adult, at 22, 23, I got to be clean about those feelings that I had.
And that's legitimate.
When I was like, damn. And then to boot, bro, my father gets married, remarries, and he and his wife, bro, open up a daycare. So then my dad has multiple kids, but that was his path.
Yeah.
That was what he was supposed to, and my sisters and I would talk even, not now, because I think we kind of clean on this shit, but was like, man, can you believe like how this relationship shift? Our dad spent this amount of his life, neglecting certain responsibilities, and then he gets to a point in his life where, he's actually choosing all of these other things. But like to your point, some of those future decisions that you're making is to try to repair and heal some of those parts of yourself before. Because we were still in his life, right? Mm-hmm. And it was like, I can't, but now he got tons of kids that call him grandpa, that call him pop, who love him to this day. Yeah. And he got to be something for people that they didn't have in their lives.
Yeah, and no matter what, to your point, dog, no matter what even if you do repair it somewhat, there's still a level of guilt that a dude would feel of not showing up. Especially once you start to repair it and you start to see that this kid is great, you know what I'm saying? And there's a level of guilt that exists that you screwed that up and you didn't repair it early. It goes through, you don't forgive yourself for it. Yeah. Right? So you spend some time like or subconsciously going out and being a part of trying to amend that past thing that you really can't. You just gotta forgive yourself, man, and start the day.
It's always a chance.
There's always a chance, dog. Mm-hmm. And that's tough.
Do you have any fond memories? Do you have like a fond memory of you and your pop when you was a kid that just kind of like has stuck with you all the way up?
Dog, I remember like going, this is probably like overall the greatest sort of memories that I have, dog. Not greatest, but kind of stick out the most. I remember going places with him, and he was the type of dude that everywhere you went, somebody knew him, right? And they would call him from across the street, and I'll be, we'd be out or whatever, and they call, and I'll be like, damn, my dad knows every goddamn, you know what I'm saying? They would call him by name.
Right.
And even coming up, people would see my name and say, are you Dr. Gordy's son. I'll be like, yeah, that's my father. And they would have fond memories of him. And it's the same kind of thing, like, damn, I don't remember him like that, or I don't know him like that. But just having those conversations with those people, like, he helped me, man. I was struggling trying to get this done, and he made a phone call for me and pushed it through, man. I thank him. I just want you to tell him so-and-so said thank you.
Wow.
I'll be like, all right, cool. And just knowing that he showed up like that for people, man, really kind of gives me a different perspective about who he was and how he got down. You know what I'm saying? And and those kinds of thoughts, man, of how he was, how he helped other. I mean, he started programs to help people, and having that sort of understanding about who he is a big deal to me, man. I think that I do that with my kids too. Like, I think a lot of times when we go places and somebody will, I think there's the same vibe there, but I just think that it's just different of how they perceive things. Maybe it's just how they perceive things at this age.
Do you start thinking about him more like towards like holidays and birthdays? His birthday was a couple months ago.
Yeah, definitely.
But like was Father's Day like a big day for y'all, or like in y'all vibe and y'all relationship?
No, it was to the degree that, we were there, we did shit, we cooked out. You know what I'm saying? It was a recognized thing, but we ain't really never had, and I think this might be different because it was at different points, it was a house full of dudes. So we don't really, it'll be Father's Day, we'll go cook out and hang out and chill. But there's no like, big like, oh, let me bring you a cake and all these presents, and Father's Day writing poems. Father, F is for family that you love so much. I mean, that ain't really how we got down.
Right.
That just wasn't our personalities. Or it wasn't his personality, so it kind of trickled down to us. But it was definitely a sense that we recognized what it was. And as you get older, man, you start to appreciate the things you really didn't see. Like, and understand. And the things that they did and they do as you get older, especially if you lose them, then you really see, like, and then you start to see that the shit that you thought was such a big deal ain't really a big deal. That, you need to, again, dog, I would say to anybody, man, coming from two dudes who've lost fathers, whatever you got to do, man, to mend that thing, if you're a father or a son, an older son, start taking those steps, man, because it's vital, man. There's nothing else that'll fill that hole until you mend that relationship.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And a part of the mending.
And I talk to a lot of dudes who feel the same way.
Yeah.
Who can't really articulate it or understand it, but they feel that hole, that loss is there, but they don't know how to mend it, man. Just small things, man. Just go have coffee. Go have lunch. It ain't got to be nothing heavy. Just go do something.
And you might just go over there and like help them change the oil. Like if that's whatever. Sometimes a part of it is getting into their groove.
That's right.
Because a lot of what and because a part of the mending for me was acceptance, dog.
Yeah, that's right.
Was to stop looking at this man for all of the shit that he didn't do.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Stop looking at him for somebody who made mistakes as if everybody don't motherfucking make mistakes.
That's right.
How can I see him like as a human, as a person?
That's right.
And if he going over there and like he's smoking cigarettes, or he going and playing the numbers, or if I just because I don't fucking play the numbers and I gotta have all of these stories in my head about why he played the numbers, maybe I'll just pick him up one day and be like, hey man, what you doing? You wanna go play the numbers?
That's right.
And then drop him a 20 and say, hey man, let's go. Go pick some numbers. Pick some for me.
That's
like
right.
Getting into their groove and not judging it, if that's a part of like what the conflict is.
Yeah.
Because if sometimes, man, sitting back, even as the child, sitting back and waiting, especially when you got an old pop, bro, that motherfucker is stuck in his ways like a stripper on concrete. They stuck, bro.
Oh man, I didn't think that you would be able to pull that off.
They
Dog. You pulled that off.
Did you like that?
That was impressive, bro.
Inside game. Tune the fort. So they stuck. They not going to take that step.
That's
you
right.
85.
Yep.
You've done all kind of crazy shit.
You know how many steps you got to take?
You know how many steps, you know, with 85, bro?
That's right. That's right.
Motherfucker, you think we dealing with racism? They, like Chris Rock said, we talking about can't get the cab. They were the cab. Your daddy was a cab.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
the idea of them doing something different and changing to make the relationship better sometimes ain't a part of the story.
Yeah.
It's our responsibility, whether we did, whoever the fuck is listening to it. If you a parent listening to it, it's your responsibility. If you a son or a daughter listening, it's your responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes that's your path, bro. It's to mend it. You know what I'm saying? It's to make it. And mending doesn't mean like, because you can never go back and fix what happened before. All you can do is move forward and try to have the best relationship, the understanding that you can have now. You can never, he can't go back and fix what he did. You can't go back and fix what you feel about it. All you can do is move forward, dog, in understanding and grace and appreciating them for who they are right now today, with all of their flaws, because we all got them. And if he's 70, 80, 85, dog, he got mad flaws. He gonna say wrong shit. He gonna use F words and he gonna call people all kinds of crazy. But
he might want to pray with you, like that, because that was one of my things, man. My dad was so in the church, and he would be trying to throw it off to me, and I'd be like, "Pop, that ain't me, man. You know, that ain't my thing, bro. You know." And he would, and I didn't necessarily have to respond in that way, like even in hindsight, be like, "Hey, man, you want to pray? Yeah, bro. I mean, let's sure."
Yeah, exactly.
Like absolutely. I would be honored.
That's right.
You know, but when you, sometimes for being a son or like trying to, so much of our shit is like, let me try to create an identity. Let me try to be my own person. Yep. And a lot of being your own person is contrast against them. You take a lot of the shit that is a part of you from them.
Yep.
But then there's some pieces of it that you just actually, you know, reject.
And then, you know, it's deep. The more you dig into that, the more you realize that y'all are not that different.
The same motherfucker, bro.
Exactly. Y'all are more alike than you are different in most instances. If you just, and all you gotta do is scratch the surface, man, and just give the level of grace that you would want.
I miss my conversations with my pop, bro. Yeah. I remember just sitting up and just listening to him talk, and as wild as I be thinking my thoughts are at times and the dots that I connect, he had such beautiful ways of connecting dots and making sense of the world and being able to apply them in ways that just made so much sense, man. Yeah. And just sitting and talking, especially, you know, when he was during his chemo times, I would, you know, pick him up and shit, and we would hang out. Yeah. And I had a convertible Jaguar at the time, bro, and he would want me to take the top down and drive because it would be cold. Yeah. And I would drive fast, knowing he didn't like it, so he'd be in the passenger seat trying to hit the brake. Yeah. And I'm like, Pop, ain't no brake. And I'm going around corners and I'm dipping. We got the top down, and he just came from chemo, dog, like this. And he had a KU, got a KU hat. Yeah. That he would wear with it down like this, and he was just frail as shit, like 120 pounds, but he loved the top down, and it just cold, man. Because I had a job. I had enough flexibility with my job at the time where I was like, I'm taking my dad to chemo on these days. I need to be working remote, and this is just what it's gonna be. And they were like, cool, we got it. That's how it's gonna roll. That's clean. And I'm so thankful that I got that time to bond. But it's some of the shit that I actually miss more than anything. And just hearing my father used to call me beloved, bro. Wow. And when I would call him, he'd be like, hey, beloved.
Yeah.
How you doing, beloved? And my dad was, he loved telling me he loved me, dog.
Yeah.
And that was something that I didn't understand the value of as a black man.
Yeah. Because it ain't something we hear a lot.
It's something we don't tell each other as men a lot.
Yep.
And my father was in his 50s when he heard his dad tell him he loved him for the first time. But he made sure, even with my brothers and my sister, it's like he made sure, bro, that I got to hear that. And it was something that I actually try to pass on with like Miles, because I want him to be comfortable with hearing a black man be like, yo, I love you.
Yeah.
And hear that shit.
Yeah.
And see it and not
receive
feel weird
Yeah.
about hearing it and or saying it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's just a part of nourishing each other's spirit, bro.
Yep.
And then it started feeling better when he would tell me,
Yeah.
without me, with him telling me first, and I'd be like, yeah, it's passing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's passing. Yeah. Or he would tell me he loved me back, like when he was around his friends and shit like that every now and then, and it wouldn't, and he wouldn't be nervous. And I'm like, we gotta, like, how can you make these extremely fucking emotionally and human creating things natural in a kid's life?
Yep. Yeah, that's heavy, man. And I remember my dad's, man, my dad's music taste was so, I mean, it was fucking pristine. I mean, just going into the basement and seeing the records that he had, man. It was no duds in that motherfucker at all. I mean, I remember him coming home with Earth, Wind and Fire, like the Where the World joint that you open up and you could see the inside, dog. I mean, when it was just, I mean, the James Browns, the Isley Brothers, I mean, his collection, man, was, I mean, there was no filler. It was all like mini and, I mean, it was just like wall to wall. And you could, I mean, I'm thinking about it today. If I went through that, every joint that you pull out is a classic. Meters, every joint you pull out was, and he curated this. It ain't like collectors, like record collectors. I don't know, you're not really like a vinyl collector, but a lot of times we go and buy the shit in bulk. We'll be like, okay, let me get these group of joints, not really knowing, you know what I'm saying? It's just like your playlist.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just throw shit in a playlist, you really don't, you might not like it or I like it. Or it might be all right, but let me just, dog, every one of them joints was something that he, I mean, handpicked and knew was a classic. Before it was a classic, when it was new. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I remember, man. And just getting in the car, the tapes that he would play and the shit that he had, man. It was long drives, it was the OJs, and it was, you know, Stevie, and it was all, I mean, it was just music all of the time, man.
Did he play, so your pop got you into music?
Oh, hell yeah. It was passed to my brothers, and then from my brothers, it definitely, well, from him to us. And we all, because I remember my brothers used to go, and then it moved on. They used to go and get, you know, they would come back with, you know, albums of you know, great records, man. And I just remember sitting, and this is probably a lot of people's relationship to actual vinyl. Sitting, looking at the cover, looking at the back, looking at the sleeve while it's playing. And you had to, the whole record had to wash over you. You couldn't just jump from song to song. You would sit there, man, and go through every song, and you would read the notes and read the lyrics on the sheet, on the inside of the sheet, and you would look at the picture, and it was big, and you just had to experience the whole thing. And I would see him do that. So, and then, like I say, car was all, man, it was always great music, man. I think that's something that I miss, man. Just, that's one of my fondest memories of just being around, just around them. And my brothers do the same thing, man. We would have music. I mean, it was always music. It was always albums everywhere. It was always shit to be had, shit to be talked about, shit to get. Did you hear that? And then also the not in the way that you just listen to it. Like I remember my brothers used to have these nuanced, like this keyboard sound or this bass line or this drum fill right here is dope, and they will point out those small, like nuanced things. You know what I'm saying? And I used to be like, damn, they hear that, like that bass line and how it changed and how it went up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And how that made this record dope. And those are the conversations that we would. Those are the things that I really, remember. Those are the conversations that we used to have. That's crazy. I never even thought about that. And then the difference in the live recordings, like he would get like the Earth, Wind and Fire lives and then the studio recordings and hear the differences and analyze them, man. It was always conversations like that. That shit used to be dope.
Shout out to our dads, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And all the dads.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we be talking about accountability and responsibility and all of that shit, man. But if you fucking up, bro, as a dad, that's cool too. You know what I'm saying? Cause like that's cool too.
But here's the thing though, even if you fucking up, right, and you falling way short, the fact that you feel it means that hopefully, God willing, that at some point you're gonna make that switch because you feel it. I don't know if this dude that exists that's just out here like, I don't really give a fuck at all. I don't feel it at all.
Yeah.
Like that's a different animal.
Iceman cared about his kids.
Exactly. How many chicks he choked? You know what I'm saying? So if you feel it, dog, you're always being called. That feeling is an opportunity for you to change it.
Yeah.
It's always that tomorrow I can wake up and do something different because I feel it. And if I don't tomorrow, then I'm gonna try again on the next day.
Yeah.
So even if you fucking up, man, it's always a chance, bro.
Cause a part of the story too, like, sometimes you gotta love people, man, to the healing. And it's beating you the fuck up and kicking you while you down and telling you how much you ain't shit.
Right. You ain't never.
That helps a very, 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 very small percentage of people. And really, it's not. You can cast a wider net with love to help them people get out of them situations, man. Yep. And beating motherfuckers up, man, it ain't the way I want to continue to speak and inspire and encourage people, because it's not the way that I'm talking to myself. Because that used to be the way I talk to myself.
Exactly.
To encourage and motivate.
Exactly.
Now it's a totally different, conversation.
And once you make that change in yourself and not speak that way internally, then you'll see that you speaking that way to other people is not helping, is not healthy, does not create any room for any healing at all, dog. It just creates further barriers, and those calluses just become harder and harder. Just like you did with yourself, man.
Mm-hmm.
Once you start to open up that grace and that forgiveness piece for yourself, then you'll start to feel like that you have to extend it to others. And kids too, man. Shit, kids ain't perfect. Some of y'all ain't shit neither.
Oh.
Don't act like, you know what I'm saying? We've had this conversation. Don't act like y'all walk around here perfect. Y'all done made mistakes, done fucked up shit too. Shit, you need forgiveness just like that man do.
15 to 50.
Yeah, get over your goddamn selves, a lot of y'all, man.
Stop babying these babies. Let these motherfuckers. Well, man, we probably got to figure out a conversation, a topic to have for shitty kids. I'm kidding.
That's real, dog. Some of y'all ain't shit, dog. That's the reality of it. Some of y'all walk around here being a victim of everything, and y'all ain't shit.
At all.
Ain't shit. Y'all
and want to blame mama, want to blame daddy. Like, you ain't shit because you ain't shit.
You ain't shit. It's your life is your responsibility, man. You can be good or you can be ain't shit. Just like saying Color Purple. Y'all rotten kids. Y'all was terrible. Y'all need to get over yourselves, man. We all do. And that's another piece, though. We need to get over ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
Walking around here thinking that motherfuckers owe us something. Come on, man.
Kids think the parents owe them something.
Yeah.
Parents think the white man owe them something.
Some of the parents think the kids owe him something. Like, he don't respect me. He don't, he don't do what I tell him.
Yeah, and then you look at that parent and be like, who the fuck are you?
You ain't shit. He ain't shit because you ain't shit.
Oh, I
was
love
watching,
it.
dog. I don't know if you watched Big Jaw. You watched it because you sent me a couple of jokes.
Oh, yeah.
And that new, he does this for the internet. He does this Tiberius.
Oh, Tiberius?
Yeah, where he go and beat up people for you because you can't. And then the new joint, he was like, you just soft. It ain't your fault. You just soft. Your daddy was soft. And your daddy before him was soft. So some of y'all ain't shit. Some of y'all come from a line of dudes that ain't shit. But again, you can change that algorithm at any time, man. But first with the understanding that you ain't shit and don't nobody owe you shit.
Damn.
Sorry, that was.
Did you all right?
Yeah, that one.
You need to take a.
I'm good, bro.
You just told 7.4 billion people that they ain't shit.
Hey,
you
man,
cool?
They need to hear it, man.
That's okay. So
need to hear it,
let me go. You ain't shit.
Get over yourself, man. Get over yourself.
Yeah. Relax.
Fix and take a step to fix a relationship with somebody who ain't shit like you ain't shit.
Yep.
And accept them for who they are, how they are, dog, and go get a motherfucking coffee and sit down and talk. Go get a lunch. Go to Subway, get you a lunch, sit somewhere, man, and chop it up.
Subway, my nigga? You still going to Subway?
I mean, if you can't afford, everybody can't go to motherfucking, the Palm like you.
But Subway though?
If that's all you got is the $5 foot long pause, then that's what you need. That's what you go.
I'm gonna need you to come up with another fast food.
Give me another cheap place that they can go.
Quiznos.
Is Quiznos even around, dog? Well,
I don't know. This is a fucking hypothetical story. Anything could be. You pick Subway.
I just picked it because it's convenient and plentiful. Quiznos. I don't even know what the fuck. I've never been to Quiznos.
They bread good, bro.
Is it?
Yeah.
Shit look nasty. Shout out to Quiznos. Disrespected, I just slandered Quiznos. They're gonna send me a cease and desist. I'm gonna need you to apologize to Quiznos.
So I was saying, I just got back from Cleveland today, right?
Yeah.
I went down to check out Terrell in that party, in that album release joint.
Shout out to Tall Black Guy.
That he did, man. That, because if I'm talking about my dad, a part of that is where we from. And kind of like, because I think our environment is just as a part of a parent as the actual fucking parents.
Yeah.
So you could, because there's actually a force that is contributing to shaping you. So you got your mother, you got your father, and then you got your environment too.
But those things all work together. Like, it seems like, though, that it comes through your parents, how they show up or not show up, and then that environment is like part of the mix, right? You could come up in a crazy, wild environment, right? But if your parents show up a certain way, then that environment doesn't influence how you move around.
Well, it will always influence you, right? It will determine how much or in what kind of ways.
That's what I mean.
Because if you in the hood, bro, and you hearing shots, hearing shots.
Right.
Now your parents could either be like, yo, them are shots, we getting the fuck out of here, or they could be the motherfucker out there shooting.
I just shot. We get the fuck out of here.
But it. Yeah. Because it's almost like it's its own thing.
Yes.
In a way. It has its own heartbeat. It has its own rhythm.
And shapes and colors too.
Yeah, like all of it, like the sound, the vibe, the energy, how you feel when you get up and walk outside.
Yep.
And one of the things that that resonated with me is I've always had this love-hate relationship with Kansas City, bro. Always. Like I've always been extremely proud to be from there because Kansas City builds a certain type of nigga. And
Yeah.
I have been extremely proud of the man that Kansas City builds.
Yeah.
And the friends that I have and just how solid we are in so many ways, dog. And just well-rounded, well-flawed motherfucking people, right?
Yeah, well flawed.
But the love-hate piece was something that I haven't really been able to communicate well. And listening to this album that he did and listening to these young people and even talking to Kelly, shout out Kelly, Cleveland Brown, like he captured the whole essence of that spectrum.
Yeah.
And it actually helped me understand the hate piece a little bit more, what I was struggling or what I perceived to be hate, to kind of round that out. And I never thought that my relationship with a place was similar to my relationship with like my parents in a way.
That's deep.
And how in the ways that I've been trying to shift those relationships, because I don't know how you feel about DC, bro, but I fucking hate Kansas City, but I love it too.
Yeah. Well, those are, you know what, man, those are really the same emotions. There's a connection to it that, and I'm the same way about DC, man. There's a connection to it that runs so deep that you've experienced every level of emotion, and this city or your city is the backdrop for that emotion. So whatever the emotions are attached to that city, because that's where that's the environment, that's the pot that you were in. So the worst experience to the best experience all happen with the same background.
Like a parent.
Exactly. So right. So your relationship to it, dog, is this love, hate. It's weird, man. Because every city has its own unique vibrations, and your relationship to that vibration is a unique relationship. So everybody's, I mean, it's all intertwined. And then how they interact with each other, man, is intertwined, and it just makes a love-hate.
But the relationship is different. So like, we come from shitty places, right?
Right.
We got shitty scenarios and experiences and violence and depravity and hardship and all of these things. And then you've got then you have media coming at you saying that it's a fucked up place to live. Everybody you know trying to leave the motherfucker.
Yep.
And so you got all of these competing thoughts and feelings about the shit.
Yep.
And he took this project that they basically took all that, crystallized all of those feelings and put it into something that you could actually move through in a way that has a framework and feeling, bro. Cause like I said, like they're different. Like whether you were from the hood in DC, Kansas City, like the feelings are the same.
Yes.
The emotions are the same.
Yep. The connections are the same. The only thing changes is the background. Is the experience, is who it's happening to.
And the street names, and the
street
spots
names
you eat at.
Some of the street names are always about Luther King.
And Malcolm X.
Yeah, that's right.
And
that's right.
And so,
yeah, that's real. That's crazy, man. Shout out to that guy, man. Terrell is so talented, man. I can't say enough about that cat, man. He's a bad man.
He's a beautiful human, bro.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, man. He's just a great dude. Like, in the midst of all, I'm gonna say this about him, man. You know, Miles is working on his music thing, and Terrell's been gracious enough to just give him be available for him to bounce ideas off of in the midst of how busy this dude is, I can't appreciate this guy enough, man, just for showing up that way for Miles. Because he's showing have to. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know, but just the interest of not just off the strength of me, because I ain't shit, but just off the strength that he sees him making these moves and trying to get better, and he adds his input, man. I can't thank that guy enough for that, man.
And what I like about how he does help is when he's saying, like, hey, you do the work.
Exactly.
You do the work, and then, you know, take the first steps, bro.
And that's help.
That's help.
Like anything else is something different. That is help, dog. Saying not the popular shit. That's when you care. When you don't say what's popular, you say what need to be said. That's
yeah.
shit, man. Shout out to him. But when is it? Is it out?
Yeah, it came out yesterday.
What? Come on, man. Give him the platform.
Oh, Bandcamp. 12 literary arts.bandcamp.com, I think. But they're only doing it on Bandcamp. But it's dope, bro. It's dope. These young people, man.
They doing any other media for it? Any videos, anything?
Nah, not right now. It's just the album. They did a whole release thing and an interview and all that kind of stuff Friday night.
Yeah, they need to do some media for it, man. Some kind of.
Yeah.
That's dope though, man. But say it again.
12 literary arts.bandcamp.com. I think that's what it is.
Check it out, man.
Them joints is nice, bro.
Appreciate that, man.
How you feeling, man?
I'm good, bro. It was a good episode. I feel good.
Yeah, I'm glad we gave space to the pops, bro.
Yeah. And again, man, there's always today, there's always tomorrow, man, to make moves. You ain't shit. Ain't none of us shit. We all in this. We all trying to navigate this shit together, dog.
And even what we saying we ain't. This was episode 27. We saying we ain't shit. Episode 28. We gonna be talking about we perfect.
That's right.
We're gonna be talking about all this shit is great.
That's right.
You couldn't be better.
That's right. You are.
And when we tell you that, that's gonna be just as true.
That's right.
Just as motherfucking relevant.
That's right.
As us telling you that you ain't shit today.
Right. That's right. The universe has made you perfectly right now in this moment. It's just as true as us saying that you ain't shit.
Hey. And we're gonna be here next week to tell you that you're everything. And then the following week we're gonna say you ain't shit. And then we just gonna go back and forth.
It's a theme to this shit, dog.
Hey, cause it's really how we be feeling about ourselves.
Exactly.
I did a poem on these on this joint that I did, and I was like, I know I'm the shit. I just don't feel like it sometimes. Like I know.
Yeah.
I know that I'm the shit.
Yeah.
The piece that I have been able to add, because I used to beat myself up about thinking that I ain't shit.
Yeah.
Now I add grace into that and be like, it's okay to not be okay.
Right.
And then boom,
Right.
it ends the cycle.
It's okay to be both. You can be not shit and be the shit at the same time. Shit.
So can you be a good friend, dog, and just let me hold them for like?
Yeah, go ahead, dog. You know, I'm your man.
Dog, I can't believe you bought them, dog. That's so out of your character.
No, it ain't, dog. Listen.
Those are the nicest shoes you have.
No, they ain't. They ain't my favorites, but they ain't the nicest. Again, dog, I've been doing this a long time, bro. Welcome to the game, partner. Welcome to the strip game, partner. What was that from?
Strip game?
Hey, you know what it's from. Where was it from? Welcome to the stripping game, partner.
What, Players Club?
Players Club, man.
That's the only stripper movie I know. That was kind of like
the only one that's relevant. What other one is it?
That one Cat Williams did was hard.
Which one?
I can't think of the name of it, but it was hard.
I don't know if it's hard as Players.
Pause.
Yeah. I pause. Yeah, I don't know if it's hard as Players. Players Club is a classic, though.
Players Club is a classic.
That's Bernie Mac, man. Shout out to Bernie Mac.
Shout out.
All right, man. We out.
All right, appreciate you, bro.
Yep.
Much love.
Yep. Peace.